Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we're doing a micro deep dive into a seriously powerful sales philosophy. We're pulling directly from a fascinating curriculum module on modern sales tactics, and it centers around this bold concept called elephant hunting. So if you're operating in a market where resources just feel incredibly scarce and your traditional tactics are, well, flat out failing, this is exactly the structured framework you need to completely rethink your entire strategy.
Let's start with the literal elephant in the room. How do you actually sell when budgets shrink? Look, I know so many of you are navigating this exact struggle right now. It's a universal pain point in a lean market, right? You've got this great product or service, but the pool of available capital just seems to be drying up left and right. The standard playbook just isn't yielding the results it used to. And honestly, it can feel incredibly frustrating.
The source material puts the core conflict very plainly. Customers reduce their expenditure. Now, I want to slow down for just a second here. Really let the gravity of that statement sink in. It's a super simple sentence, sure, but it represents an absolute seismic shift in your daily operations. When the default customer response becomes, we're cutting back, every single sales conversation you initiate fundamentally changes. Section 1, the lean market reality. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this isn't just some bump in the road, it's the actual terrain we have to navigate to move forward. Expanding on that exact quote, when customers reduce their expenditure, we have to recognize that this is not a temporary dip. It's the new baseline. If you approach this like it's a passing storm, you're just going to sit back and wait it out. And waiting it out, that is a fatal error. It costs you time, it costs you momentum, and ultimately it drains your pipeline. You literally have to actively and permanently change how you operate right now. Which brings us to Section 2, shifting consumer behavior. We're getting into the agitation phase here, because the challenge actually goes way deeper than just tightened wallets. The source text makes an absolutely critical observation here. Consumer behavior has fundamentally changed across different marketing channels. But what does that actually mean for us in practice? Well, it means your prospects are dealing with massive inbox fatigue. They require significantly more trust building and peer validation before they even think about agreeing to a demo. Decision cycles are dragging out, and suddenly multiple stakeholders are involved in purchases that used to just take one quick signature. Because of these specific shifts, the old volume-based outreach and standard marketing funnels you used to rely on, they're just becoming significantly less effective.
So, I want to pose this question directly to you. Keep this in mind as we go through this explainer. Are your traditional channels failing to connect? Really think about your own sales pipelines right now. Are you noticing that the exact same messages that used to get a stellar response rate are suddenly just getting ignored? Are your standard outreach channels just generating noise instead of actual qualified leads? If the consumer's behavior in those channels has changed, your traditional approach is basically speaking a language they're no longer listening to.
Moving on to Section 3, the elephant hunting approach. And this brilliantly illustrates our pivot toward the actual solution. Go after elephant. This is the act of conducting highly targeted prospecting to secure large, high-value clients in lean markets. Think about this metaphor for a second. When resources are scarce, chasing after dozens of tiny diminishing deals where budgets are already slashed to the bone anyway, it's a losing game. It takes just as much energy, but the payoff is, frankly, minimal. Instead, you've got to shift your entire focus to the elephants. These are the major players who, even in a super lean market, still have the capital and the critical need to invest in solutions that truly move the needle. But to do this successfully, you have to completely relearn how to conduct prospecting. We aren't just tweaking a couple of email templates or lightly polishing a script here. Elephant hunting requires intense precision. We're talking about adopting true account-based marketing tactics. It means doing deep financial research on a prospect before you ever even think about picking up the phone, so you actually understand their quarterly earnings, their specific vulnerabilities, and exactly how your solution impacts their bottom line. It's all about total precision over blind volume. Let's move to Section 4, equipping for the hunt, and see how this builds on our strategy. Here's a quick visual summary of the logical progression we've covered. Step 1. You absolutely must acknowledge the reality of lean markets and reduced expenditures. Step 2, you have to understand that consumer behavior across your marketing channels has permanently changed in response to that reality. And Step 3, because of Steps 1 and 2, your strategic response is to go after elephants through highly targeted prospecting. It's a super clear sequential framework for adapting your mindset to a really tough environment. So the crucial point is this: you cannot hunt an elephant with the exact same gear you use to catch smaller targets. Overcoming these changed marketing channels requires arming yourself with entirely new resources. You need to adopt new tools, and by that, I mean moving way beyond basic email schedulers. We're talking about leveraging intent data platforms to see exactly who is actively researching solutions in your space right now. It means using advanced CRM tracking to map out those insanely complex organizational charts within massive companies. And you must develop a completely new approach to the sales conversation itself. You've got to shift from generic feature pitching to highly personalized, consultative problem solving. The text provides this incredibly empowering takeaway right here, equipped with new tools and a new approach to sell. The underlying message is one of proactive action. Just because customers are reducing their expenditure doesn't mean selling is impossible. No way. It simply means you must be equipped correctly. With the right intent data, thorough research, and a fresh, consultative approach designed specifically for those high-value targets, you can totally still thrive, even when the broader market is pulling back. Which brings us to our final, provocative thought for this explainer. The market has leaned out, the budgets have definitely shrunk, and the channels are communicating differently. But those massive opportunities, the elephants, they're still out there, just waiting for the right approach. So, how will you adapt your channels for tomorrow's elephant hunt? Take a really hard look at your current prospecting tools. Are they built for yesterday's reality? Or are you actually ready to go after the big targets waiting in today's market? Think on that, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next explainer.